Lundazi following the floods. So the best member is to engage safe. We are grateful for your visit. Continued, please can you
goes to Madam Speaker, I had a chat with the Minister of Agriculture that the men sitting in the shades along the valleys should be spared for the people of the valleys, cause which is a season of agriculture, and issue to do with Minister for Southern province are facing the same. Minister, when are you going to do a wonderful job?
we make progress? Answer understanding order 80.
If so, when the plan goes, plans. Which are, and that's because these are just government.
Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. Madam Speaker, the that is one, Pundi Kamanga Bridge across of completion September 2025. Delay in completing the project is, and last, what the cost of outstanding works on it is. Construction of the Pundi stream and across the completed 2026. September of 5%. Bridge was at Milan. This parliamentary constituency, Pundi, the the 6 kwacha 65 Lamungu
Sponsor the people in the two
There is Member for Katombo. Tombola is not number in accordance with member. $142.
As 2025. So many of us the above. Why? About this rather than
And also even the honorable member, he can't understand.
speak. Allow me first and specific to of 10 from the outside, the external beam referred as internal radiation therapy machines. For beam radiation therapy, government has procured 5 linear accelerators called LINAC and 2 CT scan simulators to enhance precision in treatment planning and delivery. For external radiation, government has procured 3 brachy targeted treatment in so area. And, Madam Speaker, for radiology, 270 facilities have been radiotherapy. Speaker, government has procured for D force off. I thank you.
Answer a question.
Is very much aware. This question is background when we had a situation that were being away from UTH, radiography machines were not available and they were being Tanzania for treatment. The minister is radiography from the patients that have been going to UTH. Now that he has mentioned that some machines have broken, is the minister able to inform this House whether Tanzania still exists or it has been now reduced or it is at 0 because of the machines that he has mentioned cured?
Thank you, the Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam, for the. Today it was a commemoration, and we did it with the Honorable Munali, who is Minister of Green Economy. Be to the President of the Republic of Zambia, who has prioritized health care for the Zambians. The queues are quite long. To by but the with these other dollar being reduced tremendously. It's unfortunate other people before about health care for people. Even you could see first, it has been known clearly that there is political will. Budget to want our people to is deadly, also effectively. I
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Ghana, the issue that you have written me a note.
Madam, I my question accelerators, brachytherapy units, and all of those he mentioned. But he has indicated, he has clarified that these machines have just arrived, not yet functional, waiting for the completion of Cancer Hospital in Ndola, as well as Livingston and elsewhere. But I'm alarmed. Clarification: these radiotherapeutic units will be like the very function where all people who are trained to manage cancer are allowed to use this serious equipment. When you take cancer units in places like the heart hospital, which specialists? Because as far as I know, at the heart hospital, there are at the heart hospital who these very in those places which are non-cancer management locations. I wish for the Madam.
Minister of Health.
And thank you very much for the follow-up issue by a colleague from Lunte. Installed that near we have got 22 hectares of space there at UTH. There's no hospital to be installed. Carefully.
Member for Mandela.
The question was similar to number who are currently sent to other health
at UTH to see what has been going on for this government into power. So much of the space there has been taken. And for the radiography, common X-rays. That we have got portable X-rays, more to the hospital. But one or two at a time. With other commitments, village and other things. That one machine would treat many, many people. So we could not only concentrate on one area. So at the moment, the distribution has gone very, very good X-rays, which will be going, shall be taking them into rural parts, in deep places like this place and Kaputa, everywhere in the country. This government is upright. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, the Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, since I didn't receive a card from you, Happy New Year. I'm seeing you today. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me take this opportunity also to just congratulate our colleague, Honorable Nundwe, who, for myself, I know him as PS. Congratulations, the new Member of Parliament for Chawama. Honorable Minister, I was keenly following your submission. I wanted to find out, Minister, we do commend you for procurement of such very, very important equipment as UPND government. But suffice to say that, Madam Speaker, year out, we do, Madam Speaker, host the Ministry of Health, who are more pushing them, and acquired very important equipment. How then the intent
I'm wondering whether that's democratic. We congratulate you from the side. Madam, it's true. School of Engineering and some Chinese are policy, and even the national health policy, we are going to include that so that our equipment is maintained. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Wacho.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Referring to the order paper, Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister mentioned, sir, you mentioned the types and quantities of machines procured. However, Madam Speaker, it was not clear how many health facilities have benefited from the procured equipment and machines. That is in C, in response to question C. Madam Speaker, may the Honorable Minister be specific in responding to part C of the question. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think my colleague was not listening. If it is radiotherapy machines, I've mentioned where they have gone, but the common X-ray machines, these are spread throughout the country. I had already presented a list here earlier on. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Nyimba. Honorable Member for Wacha can get the list. I heard the Honorable Minister mentioning the... Yes. Honorable Member for Nyimba.
Madam Speaker, thank you. Madam Speaker, says on the question earlier on asked by Madam Kuba, Member of Parliament, because Madam Speaker, I come from a technical field in terms of repairing things. And this, I understand that in government, Madam Speaker, part, we do not train on government equipment, on the equipment. Madam Speaker, in the other life I lived there, when my company, I went to South Africa, Madam Speaker, so lucky that Madam needs to I think they are going to repair these things. Madam Speaker, is the Minister in a position to inform the country if you have enough qualified personnel on those products trained by the manufacturers of those equipments? Yes, may have graduates from University of Zambia. They are theoretical engineers who haven't done practical. I think Honorable Kapara will agree with me because he knows what I'm talking about. They have qualified on the theory part, but on the technical part, on the hands-on, they are not up to that stage. Do you have, or have you identified young graduates to send, even those seasonal engineers, to send them to manufacture the equipment so that we do not have an equipment breakdown for 2 weeks without being fixed? Because the problem we have at UTH is not about the equipment. Those equipment, some of them, they are barely 10 years old. and an equipment which is bare 10 years old, Honorable Kaparo agrees with me that it's fixable. And the technology is still there. So do you have number of technicians or engineers you have identified to send them for in-service or after-service training? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you for that follow-up question. True, when we buy new equipment, it has backup arrangement. One of them is experts to come and train our people on the ground. Secondly, we are in discussion with the University of Zambia over the training aspect and also where the machines are coming. Only yesterday, most of these medical equipment coming from China, they are here in the country. We have discussed the same matter. Yes. They are coming to position some engineers here. They have recognized that in Zambia, we have a lot of machines coming from China. It's difficult for to cite their own engineers to be based in Zambia, to be maintaining all their machines from Tanzania, from China. Madam Speaker, it's a critical component. We are also emphasizing training as a ministry. And thank you. I want also to cover my colleague from Kabwe who wanted to know the 270 X-rays. These X-rays machines, they have been distributed throughout the whole country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Wacha has left the House. Anyway, you will get the information. The Honorable Member for Lundazi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving a follow-up question to the Minister of Health. Honorable Minister, we received our X-ray machine. However, cancer is a killer, and it is painful, it is ravaging. As we are talking right now, there may be more than 50 women who are in UTH from Lundas who are seeking treatment, and all those people, they have to come after 6 weeks, they come after 4 weeks to come for chemotherapy, and they are all demanding, Honorable MP, can you help us with transport? In addition, Honorable Minister, if you read the page for our philanthropist, Remy Kangwa, every day there are pictures of people who are suffering from cancer. This shows that the trouble that we have is countrywide, and we cannot depend on coming to Lusaka, all of us. Otherwise, people are dying. Some are not even seeking the treatment. What are you going to do, Honorable Minister? Like the way maybe the local government has done, where they say, no, 10 million kwacha, let us use it for, sorting out the solar and power issue. Are you not in a to request and sit with the person who is handling the CDF, so that he can allow you to procure those same machines? Because it's really a serious challenge. What are you going to do for every clinic or every district hospital to have the facilities so that people should live, die? I submit, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This gives me an opportunity to urge Zambians to take screening seriously. And that's why we are saying we have bought the common X-rays, which we are distributing throughout the whole country. This is to help us detect this cancer in the early stages. Not only that, we want also we are investing in telemedicine so that our patients are seen by specialists from a hand has been enhanced with the choppers and fixed wing. These are also, because this cancer is not in one category, this cancer in various categories. If it is at its early stages, it can be treated within a year in Lusaka. But when it goes beyond stage 2, that is 3 and 4, that becomes dangerous. So we need to prevent by screening, and we are urging everyone to go for screening and to done everywhere. These handheld X-rays and the mobile, these will be distributed everywhere. And we leaders in the house, together with the civic leaders, to take screening HIV. Thank you.
Thank you. Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 143.
The Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Before I begin to answer the question, I want to start by congratulating the Honorable Member of Parliament for Chawama, who is former Copper Belt PS. Congratulations for winning the Chawama seat, but I also want to take this opportunity to congratulate our party, the UPND, for scoring high in Kasama, winning, Madam Speaker, in 2 constituencies, which is Lukasha and Kasama Central. I was privileged, Madam Speaker, to be part of the team that was stationed in Lukasha. It's unfortunate how underdeveloped Lukasha is. I thank you, Madam Speaker. In response to the question by Mr. Chinga Miyutu, Member of Parliament for Kalawo Central constituency, asked the following question.
Order, Minister, an indication for a point of order. Honorable Member for Lunte, what's
Madam, because of this House, the dignity of this House requires submission of factual information. I am particularly unhappy because the minister, a minister of state. Madam Speaker, in Lukasha, there was no by-election. In Kasama Central, there has been no by-election. Madam Speaker, the positions of constituents, Lukasha and constituents Kasama Central, are very well known. Honorable Tisanga is here. Honorable, my sister is there. How can you accept, Madam, to be misled that UPND won in Lukasha constituency and Kasama Central when there was no by-election? Madam, the by-election was in Kasama district. Is the minister in order to mislead us, mislead the country, that UPND won in 2 constituencies when there have been no by-elections in those constituencies? I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Lunte, how many constituencies are in Kasama district? There are 2 constituencies, Lukasha and Kasama Central. The elections were for the council chair, who stood in both Kasama Central and Lukasha, both combined to qualify somebody to be elected as a council chair. So that point of order is not admitted. Can we make progress? The Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, you break it down. Thank you for guiding the House. To the question on the government has sorry, Madam Speaker, whether government has a time frame within which to complete the mineral mapping exercise, if when the project is executed, what sort of funding for the project, and which company is engaged. Yes, government has set 2 years time frame from July 2024 to complete the countrywide high-resolution aerial geophysical survey for mineral mapping. B, the mineral mapping project is expected to be completed by July 2026, all things being equal. Madam Speaker, C, the project is being funded by the government of the Republic of Zambia. And D, the company engaged to conduct the countrywide high-resolution aerial geophysical survey
Thank you very much. Supplementary, Honorable for Kalabo Central.
Speaker. I just want to get some encouragement from the Honourable Minister that the resources which are being Honourable, we are all looking for, as you are aware, some in this country did not embark into this exercise of mapping. Give us the assurance that within the 2 years, as you have mentioned, that this exercise will comprehensively come up with a report that's going to be a delight to many people of this country. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development.
Thank you very much for that very important follow-up question. I want to assure you that the exercise is on course. We are actually heading Excalibur in the country. They are about to give a report on where they are at to the President of the Republic of Zambia when time allows. And the assurance I can give you is that even areas that were not, like you are alluding to, which were not expected to have some endowment, actually the preliminary report is showing that those areas could even have something even beyond copper and gold. So I can assure you that this report by July 2026 this year should be able to be completed, unless maybe conditions on the ground disturb it a little bit, but we are on course because we are already above 50% in terms of mapping the country. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. So we make progress. There are no other questions. Next question, the Honorable Member for Chadiza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving the people of Chadiza an opportunity to ask question number 144.
The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much. The Honourable Member of Parliament for Chadiza, Honourable Daka, asks the Minister of Local Government how many from in from its inception in August a year. How many benefited from beneficiaries is of the total beneficiaries? What measure the government is taking to ensure that more women benefit? benefited from the Cash for Work program since its inception in Chadiza district. B, 15,166 women benefited from this program. C, the number of women beneficiaries was at 46%. Government has continued to implement policies that ensure more women participation in the programs. On the number, Madam Speaker, the council was still
And from the for especially at the most trying moments in our country. This program to all the 160 districts, coverage in terms of network has been a nightmare. And as it stands, only 10% of the poor population have got access to this coverage. What is it in that vein that government is doing to ensure that we improve on the network coverage, especially that this whole program is anchored on the proper network coverage in the poor rural communities? Madam Speaker, thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much, and I would like to thank my dear colleague, the MP for Chadiza, for a follow-up question, and also the accolades to the new Dawn administration on this social that indeed, Madam Speaker, this intervention helped a lot. We death was has been done remains a very, very big challenge. And these are the issues, Madam Speaker, that we are engaged. The dear colleague, the Honorable Minister for Technology, in trying to see how around the clock matters. Now it's the national-wide issue. Cash for work, it will be done. The entire nation will be doing cash for work. So in terms of as a government, we speak.
Thank you, Chifubu.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In extending my to the newly elected member, Honorable Minister, is a wonderful program that has benefited our people, and it's a wonderful initiative of government. Indeed, my question to you is, when is for work is it coming with to accommodate more women?
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Local Development.
Thank you so much, Honorable Member of Parliament for Chifubu, for such. The announcement was January Cash for Work is starting. Cash for work, they are undergoing orientations at Chalimbana. Once they are done, Cash for work will resume. Thank you.
The Honorable Member for Chadiza.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable, the challenge that the program experienced was that of unpredictable funding, leading to this time around, Honorable Minister, how do you intend to resolve this challenge that the program faced before the revision that you have alluded to? Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Government and Rural Development.
Madam, thank you so much, and I'd like a follow-up question. Madam Speaker, indeed, challenges have been there or were there. That is the more reason now before we started the new phase. We thought it is important that all the challenges that we are faced are being addressed. The more reason we have the workshop, the challenges and be sorted out before we resume for this start. Otherwise, challenges and they are being addressed through the engagement that these officers are having today. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for...
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Good to hear that cash for work will soon be recommencing. Now, I would like to find out, at the conclusion of the work program, before going to continue, we were informed that the new cash for work will not cover some of the activities that were being carried out by people in some of our constituencies. In other words, emphasis was being placed on activities that leave physical structures behind. Now, in some of the constituencies, such as Luena constituents, we applied cash for work for activities such as canal dredging. Now, whilst canal dredging leaves a physical structure behind, but it was somewhat not fitting the description of what was prescribed as qualifying projects. Would you clarify that the cash for work, that when it restarts, would still be able to cover activities that are beneficial to the communities in those areas, even if they are of a nature that does not leave a permanent structure in the typical definition of a structure? Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you so much, and I would like to thank the Member of Parliament for Luena. Were realized in the first cash for projects that were done that had basically no economic value. And we believe that is the way to go, economic value and a more structure. Was like what people just sweep, collect the garbage. They don't even collect the garbage. That alone is not. For example, drainage. That is in that drainage is collected. By so doing, there is economic value in the resources, unlike just your sweep. So that we need that to leave an impact in the communities. So basically, those are the areas that we are looking at. Value, you want to be paid. Thank you so much.
The Honorable Member.
Minister, to say we had this problem, what we'll do it was clear that, but as fisheries were expected to. I'd also like to nail behind for work, because I believe the 2024, what is the with cash for work around that? Thank you.
Minister of Local Government and Rural Development.
Madam, I'd like to thank the Member of Parliament for Kafurafuta for basically situation, so that the 87 districts that were badly affected, our people could have money to buy food. Now, Madam Speaker, the people of Zambia have real right to say this intervention, and they want it to continue. Was any other way around, like asking from politicians, people want to work for their money. And not only that, Madam, a lot of since the people of Zambia, they are celebrating this also other social intervention, we have to carry it on board. Instead of now looking at the districts that were affected, it is a national matter. We want people to participate and people to have a bite from the national budget by doing some works. So it's a social intervention, Madam Speaker, that has been accepted by the people of Zambia. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Question 145.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me, Madam Speaker, before I even get to respond to the questions, to thank and appreciate the team that went to Kasama and this opportunity to congratulate the Member of Parliament for Chawama who has come to the House. Honorable Member, you're welcome. Madam Speaker, the Member of Parliament for Lufwanyama, Honorable Kenny Siachisumo, asked the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry a question in three phases. A, whether the government has any plans to engage an investor to undertake value addition to the emeralds produced in Lufwanyama district in order to create jobs for the local, for the people, and increase revenue collection for the Treasury. B, if so, when the plans will be implemented, and C, if there are no such plans. Madam Speaker, the response is as follows, put in context. A, the government strongly believes that the value addition is the key to creating sustainable industrial growth. Consequently, the President of the Republic of Zambia has directed that every resource we produce must undergo value addition within our borders. This is the primary reason we are working to overcome a long-standing national frustration, the continued export of copper in its raw form. Madam Speaker, since independence, Zambia has only had one major processing company, Zambia, which was previously a mere 35 era and closure. Supportive we have lowered the of raw processing applies to this industry, in both the private and public sectors to invest, taking inspiration from Jewel of Africa, a Zambian-owned company that has set the pace by processing emeralds locally using Zambians first ever gemstone operation with the Ministry of the largest producer of emeralds, but as the global hub for their auction and trade. Currently, Madam Speaker, gemstones from Panyama are often exported to India and other Asian countries, creating jobs instead of here, creating jobs in those jurisdictions instead of here in Zambia. We are now working closely with the gemstone sector to ensure that starting this year, a specific percentage of stones must be processed locally until we have fully built the capacity to handle our entire national output. Therefore, Madam Speaker, my ministry, through the Department of Industry, is engaging every producer of gemstones to segregate a certain percentage for local processing and polishing to the final product outside the country. Revenue collection, B is implementing marketing strategies to attract more investors in the gemstone sector. Therefore, we cannot give a specific date when this will be. And with the answers given above, Madam Speaker, C falls off. I submit.
Thank you. Supplementary questions? The Honorable Member for Lufanyama.
Madam Dawama, Honorable Nundwe, my former boss, has addressed the UPND meeting. Mayor. Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. To find if there is a specific company which has been identified to open, in Lufanyama, so that value addition is done to the emeralds. Because what is happening at the moment, people are just digging. There are a lot of ditches which are remaining for the community. So, Honorable Minister, if there is any company which has been identified to... Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Honorable Member of Parliament. Madam Speaker, there is no specific company that we've said will set up in Lufanyama for value addition. But government policy and directive on the gemstone industry is that every major gemstone mining company that is operating in the country is getting engaged to separate a certain percentage of their produce to be sent to the Ndola lapidary to support the private setup industries like Jewel of Africa to process them locally. Lufanyama may be a mining town, but the processing right now will be done in Ndola centrally, where a lapidary has already been set up. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. There are no other questions, so we make progress. The clerk will now read the orders of the day.
The Immigration Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2025, second reading.
Minister of Home Affairs and Internal.
Madam Speaker, allow me to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the chairperson of the Committee on National Security and Foreign Affairs and the honorable members for diligently undertaking further consultations on the development of the Immigration Control Bill of 2025. I am pleased to state that throughout the bill development process, the ministry engaged extensively with a broad range of stakeholders to ensure that the proposed legislation is responsive to the needs and expectations of the Zambian people. These consultations included civil society organizations, line ministries, cooperating partners, learning institutions, and other relevant stakeholders, whose contributions greatly enriched the content and direction of the bill. Madam Speaker, migration has emerged as
Sorry, Honorable Minister, you are supposed to move the motion.
Oh, sorry. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill be read for the second time.
The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Any debate? The Honorable Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, allow me to begin by expressing my sincere appreciation to the Chairperson of the Committee on National Security and Foreign Affairs and the honorable members for diligently undertaking further consultations on the development of the Immigration Control Bill of 2025. I am pleased to state that throughout the bill development process, the Ministry engaged extensively with a broad range of stakeholders to ensure that the proposed legislation is responsive to the needs and expectations of the Zambian people. These consultations included civil society organizations, line ministries, cooperating partners, learning institutions, and other relevant stakeholders, whose contributions greatly enriched the content and direction of the bill. Madam Speaker, migration has emerged as a major global, regional, and national concern due to its expanding scope, scale, and increasing complexity. When effectively managed, migration delivers substantial social and economic benefits. Destination countries benefit through the filling of critical skills gaps, increased productivity, higher output, and enriched cultural diversity. Countries of origin, on the other hand, gain from remittance inflows, diaspora investment, and the transfer of knowledge, technology, and skills by returning migrants. Collectively, these benefits contribute to economic growth, improved food security, and strengthened rural livelihoods. Orderly, safe, and regular migration is therefore a key enabler of sustainable development, including poverty reduction and the promotion of decent work. Conversely, poorly managed migration can give rise to serious security, social, and economic challenges for countries of origin, transit, and destination. Zambia continues to face a range of migration-related challenges, include mixed migration flows, irregular migration, human trafficking, smuggling of persons, forced displacement, and the underutilization of migration's development potential. While the Immigration and Deportation Act, Chapter 123 of the laws of Zambia has provided an effective framework for migration management over the past 15 years, emerging trends and evolving threats necessitate the new and enhanced interventions that are not adequately addressed under the existing legal framework. One of the critical gaps relates to border governance. The effective management of Zambia's extensive and porous borders requires adequate human resources, infrastructure, and social amenities. In response, the establishment of dedicated border guards has been proposed to strengthen border surveillance and deter transnational crimes such as human trafficking and migrant smuggling. The operationalization of this initiative requires a robust and enabling legal framework to authorize their deployment and the regulated issuance of firearms, thereby ensuring that border security functions are carried out effectively and lawfully. Rationale. Several developments in migration governance have emerged that were not envisaged under the existing legislation and therefore require incorporation into the law. In addition, a number of new statutes have been enacted that directly impact the mandate, functions, and operations of the Department of Immigration. It has consequently become necessary to review and align the current Act with these recent instruments, as well as with the applicable regional, continental, and global frameworks governing the movements of persons and trade. Furthermore, the department has introduced a new cadre of officers, namely border guards, within its organizational structure. This unit is mandated to enhance security along Zambia's borders and will be appropriately armed to effectively respond to emerging threats associated with the irregular migration, human trafficking, and the smuggling of persons. The objects of this bill are: continue the existence of the Immigration Department and redefine its function. B, provide for the appointment of the Immigration Border Guards and provide for their functions. C, regulate the entry of persons into and departure of persons from the Republic. D, regulate the remaining of immigrants within the Republic. E, repeal and replace the Immigration and Deportation Act of 2010. And F, provide for matters connected with or incidental to the foregoing. Key developments. Notable developments in the bill include the appointment of the Director General. The bill has provided for qualifications to be met for a person to be appointed as Director General or Deputy Director General of the department. This is to ensure that the person being appointed has the relevant knowledge and experience to enable them to make informed decisions on complex immigration matters, thereby enhancing the professionalism and strategic direction of the department. 2. Immigration border guards. In line with international best practices and our quest to enhance border security along the porous border lines, the bill has introduced a new category of officers, known as Immigration Border Guards, and their functions, which will include undertaking patrols along the borders to prevent illegal border crossing. Currently, Zambia is experiencing an increase in the number of human trafficking and smuggling cases, as well as the use of undesignated ports of entry. 3. Departure of minors from the Republic. The bill has made it mandatory for a child intending to leave Zambia who is unaccompanied or accompanied by a person who is not a parent or legal guardian of the child to present written consent of the parent, guardian of the child, or the ministry responsible for child welfare. This provision is progressive and critical to enhancing child protection as it serves as a safeguard against trafficking and abduction, among other vices. We are also introducing residence permits. Investors with a minimum investment threshold of $1 million will qualify to apply for a residence permit. This complements the Cabinet decision aimed at facilitating foreign direct investment in the country. It will further promote economic development and job creation. 5. Dependent payment. The bill has introduced a dependent payment to cater to the category of persons specified as dependents. Currently, there is a gap in the law as it does not provide for a specific payment to be issued to the category of persons listed as dependents. 6. Start payments. In the bill, the scope of a start payments has been broadened to include students studying on a distance or part-time basis, and the inclusion of children below the age of 7 on the principal holders' start payment. This will enable working professionals who wish to study in Zambia to to do so and in turn contribute to economic development. 7. Refugee self-employment permit. Refugees are generally considered vulnerable. Therefore, introducing a refugee self-employment permit, which will have more relaxed requirements and fees compared to the investor's permit issued to foreign nationals who establish or invest in a business in Zambia, will enable them to conduct business lawfully. No employment permit. Introduction of a seasonal employment permit to cater for citizens of neighboring countries intending to work in the agricultural sector for a period not exceeding 6 months. Some nationals of our neighboring countries are a source of seasonal agricultural labor. However, our current Act does not provide for this category. 9. Power to use firearms. Currently, immigration officers are not armed, despite undertaking police training, which includes handling of firearms. Most perpetrators of transnational crime and prohibited immigrants are usually armed with offensive weapons and firearms. This poses a danger to officers during routine operations and border patrols. 10. Designation of immigration holding facilities. Victims of human trafficking and potential witnesses are sometimes kept in the same detention facilities with criminals due to inadequate facilities to accommodate them. This action, however, has been condemned and considered a violation of human rights. Further, this increases the risk of them being detained with the perpetrators, and also has the potential of turning witnesses into hostile witnesses. The bill has addressed this matter through the introduction of holding facilities for migrants. Expected positive impact. Madam Speaker, we believe that enactment of this bill will bring the following positive impact among others: enhanced border security, improved child protection, increased foreign investment, simplified permit process, better protection for refugees. Potential challenges and proposed migration mitigation measures. We shall introduce training to ensure that those who will be empowered to carry out the functions who have been trained, and capacity building would have been accorded to them. Madam Speaker, I beg to move that this bill be supported by the House. Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Any further debate? The chairperson of the Committee on National Security and Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Member for Kaoma Central.
Madam Speaker, in accordance with its terms of reference as provided for in Standing Order 207J of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders 2024, the committee was tasked to consider the Immigration Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2025. Madam Speaker, from the outset, I want to state that most of the witnesses who appeared before the committee were in support of the bill, which seeks to repeal and replace the Immigration and Deportation Act number 18 of 2010 in order to include migration trends that have changed over the years and some developments that have taken place which were not foreseen. Madam, I'm confident that the members of this august House have read the committee's report. I will therefore only highlight a few issues that caught the committee's attention during its interaction with the stakeholders. Madam Speaker, the committee observes with concern that Clause 2 defines a child in relation to a dependent as a child below the age of 7 and fails to consider minors who are above 7 years old. This limitation creates a protection gap which may result in unnecessary family separation.
The committee therefore recommends that the definition of child should be increased to 18 years so that it is consistent with the provisions in the Constitution and the Children's Code Act. This will also make the provision to be in line with the international best practices in common law jurisdictions, which generally sets the dependent child age limit as 18 years. Madam Speaker, the committee further observes that the use of the word may in clauses 18 to 19 and clauses 22, 24, and 27, which states that a foreigner wishing to acquire a permit may apply to the Director General, must be made clear so as to state that it is mandatory requirement for a foreigner to apply to the Director General for any permits. The wording seems to suggest that it is optional to apply to the Director General. The committee therefore recommends that the use of the word may should be replaced with the word shall to make it mandatory for a foreigner to apply to the Director General for any permits. Madam Speaker, the committee also observes that the Immigration Control Bill lacks a mechanism for visa emergency travel or digital fast-track processing. The committee therefore recommends that Clause 9 should be amended by introducing an urgent electronic visa application with a 48-hour processing limit, which should be supported by a streamlined online platform. Finally, Madam Speaker, permit me to express my sincere gratitude to you and the Office of the Clerk of the National Assembly for the guidance and support rendered to the committee during its deliberations. The committee is also indebted to all the stakeholders who appeared before it for their cooperation in providing the necessary memoranda that formed the committee's report. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chilubi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I would like to appreciate the Chair for the very elaborate report that he has read to the House. Madam Speaker, I would like to first start on appreciating that the Act has taken on board some of the prevailing immigration trends. And I think I further appreciate that the introduction of the border guards and the qualifications that the Zambia Police Commission would be weighing towards the director and the deputy director and other migration officers, especially that they are meant to preserve the institutional memory of the immigration department. I think that was a good job done. However, Madam Speaker, I'll try to weigh the Act against the principles of immigration law, which among other things are non-reformation and non-discrimination and prohibition of collective expulsion of and protection of basic human rights of the immigrants. Madam Speaker, this is also further supported by the functions of the Immigration Department, which one of them is the preservation of rights. Madam Speaker, I'm aware that as I debate, I should create a balance between the state sovereign rights of controlling the borders, but as well as also be aware of the immigrants' rights. Madam Speaker, I propose that within Section 2, as I have appreciated all those factors, we would have introduced a term which is also not captured even under the Refugee Act, which is international use as people of concern, which in this case include the refugees, asylum seekers, and also former refugees. That's all you have come to do in Parliament. Madam Speaker, I also want to approach this issue on the issue of the issue of linkage. The act as proposed, I think, should venture into certain areas to link this particular act to, among other things, the Education Act, the Higher Education Act, the Employment Code Act, Marriage Act, Anti-Terrorism and Anti-Human Trafficking Act, and Zambia Qualification Act, because in certain areas it has introduced a lot of permits that will be asking for that particular arrangement for the act to sit well. Madam Speaker, I also want to argue that what should be section, because this is a repeal, what should be in section 11 is not supportive on non-reformation principle, because it is talking about at a point of entry, an officer can refuse the entry without much of the flesh as interpreting of the reasons why that one should be refused. What if that person is an asylum seeker or should qualify at some point to be a refugee, and then they are taken back to an hostile environment, and I think that exposes the refugee rights in a way. Madam Speaker, I also want to talk about some of the permits that have been introduced, but I have in mind mainly the spouse permit. The spouse permit, Madam Speaker, if you peruse especially what is supposed to be in section, once this becomes an act, section 18, you find that apart from a spouse who is married to a citizen following the death, the other withdrawal of the Spouse Act, the manner in which the withdrawal of the permit would be done, overlooks that one who has come for trade, who is not a citizen, and overlooks those that have come possibly for study, who are not citizens. It only attaches importance where the 6 months does not apply to someone who is married to a Zambian citizen. And I think the people of Chirubi, Madam Speaker, found that a bit wanting. Madam Speaker, in section 22, the issue of the cross-border permit, which is a very good permit, but Madam Speaker, the suggestion in the law is not practical. It is saying that that permit can only last for 6 months and renewable for another final 6 months. But when you look at the practicality of how the cross-border is done, Madam Speaker, you find that we have this inflow of this cross-border who comes in and out, and some of them have been conducting this business even for 5 years. But the permit is only limiting them to 6 months, and again, the final renewal 6 months, meaning that the cross-border permit is only limited to 1 year. And given that, Madam Speaker, I think that cross-border should be expanded as it may be, so that they are given more leverage. Madam Speaker, the people of Chirubi also have got concern on immigration consultants. The immigration consultants suggests in the bill that the former immigration officer will not be subjected to the interviews and all that. And I think there is a good reason given there, because the former immigration officer is expected to understand the immigration, immigration services and how that is supposed to be done. But, Madam Speaker, what if this former immigration officer was dismissed and maybe the former immigration officer had some disciplinary measures? Because the act, the bill, does not talk about that, the cover of that particular immigration officer in that case. It only says that the former immigration officer, if they want to apply, I think in section 40, if they want to apply to be consultants, they will not be subjected to that particular interview. But if they will not be subjected to that particular interview, what if this was an indisciplined former immigration officer? That leaves the consultancy services in a vulnerable position, because this former immigration officer to start with, was dismissed because of indiscipline. And if this former immigration officer cannot be subjected to interviews, then it means that the screening process has not captured the disciplinary factor of the former immigration officer. Madam Speaker, with those few words, the people of Chile would like to submit and support the reforms that have been done around the Immigration Act.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kabwata.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity given to the good people of Kawata to add their voice on the motion that is before the floor of the House. Madam Speaker, I want also to appreciate the report that has actually come from your committee. The recommendation that has been given by the committee has actually demonstrated that there is need for us to review the Immigration Act. Madam Speaker, if you look at the history of this country, you understand that Zambia is one of the few countries in the southern African region which is actually still using the term department. Most of the countries that have either migrated, they're either using a commission or they're using national immigration services. Madam Speaker, if you look at the workforce of if you look at the workforce of the Immigration Department, Madam Speaker, from the time it was started as an immigration, the workforce was only about 400 personnel. Today, we're talking about close to 2,400, meaning that the number keeps on growing. If you look at the number of offices that the immigration offices has, they have over 104 offices, both in all the provincial centers, regional centers, including the border areas. Madam Speaker, that is the reason why we still feel that there is need for this department to be changed. The name should be changed from the department to now either a commission or the National Immigration Service. Madam Speaker, also if you look at also the issue of the legal framework, Madam Speaker, we have a new cadre of workers that are actually going to be employed, the border guards. Without this act being implemented, meaning that we will not have the structure for the border guards. So once this act is implemented, once this act is actually implemented, we'll see that the border guards will have the powers because they'll be aligned with the legal framework that will give them the responsibility as border guard. Madam Speaker, also, if you look at the department itself, I strongly feel that the name should be changed from a department to a service or a commission. Because if you look at the budget for the immigration department, it states the budget for the head 23, the budget, it has its own budget, called the budget for National Immigration Service. And that's the reason why I feel that the name should actually be changed from a department to a national.
Honorable Member for Kabata, there's an indication for a point of order. What's the point of order, Honorable Member for Lund?
Madam Speaker, my honorable colleague from Kawata should not introduce issues which he knows are constitutional matters. Madam Speaker, service commissions are provided for in the Constitution. What I'm saying is actually, why should he begin to urge the minister to change the name of the Immigration Department into a commission when he knows that the Constitution was just amended a month ago and there was no provision for that? Is he in order to start introducing constitutional provisions into an Act of Parliament? I seek your serious ruling, Madam Speaker.
I'm sure the Honorable Member for Lunta has read the report. In the report by the committee, there's a suggestion that the name is changed so that it doesn't become a department, maybe into a service. So maybe he's just debating to suggest that the name should be changed. If it means the commission, then of course we know what follows, but the name, service or something like that, that is, I think, the gist of the debate of the Honorable Member for Kabwata, that the immigration should cease to be a department. And that is what the report is saying. I hope you have gone through the report, Honorable Member for Lund. Yes, so let's allow him. You can react if you need be. May the honorable member for Kavota continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for your protection. I am merely looking at changing the name from a department to either immigration service or a commission. Madam Speaker, again, if you look at the Immigration Act of the Immigration Act number 18 of 2010, it's actually very odd. It needs to be revised so that it can start accommodating the other provision that needs to come in. For instance, the provision of a Director General. There is no way, Madam Speaker, that a Director General of the Immigration Service can start heading a department. A Director General needs to head either a commission or a Immigration National Service. That's what we feel as the people of Kawata, that there is need also to amend and revise this law, because there's no way a Director General can start heading a department. The department is supposed to be headed by the Director. Madam Speaker, also, as I conclude, Madam Speaker, also let me also emphasize on the issue of the structures of the legal structure that needs to be put in place, or the legal framework that needs to be put in place, so that the border guards becomes the engine of our security in the border areas. Because we have seen how we've been struggling as a nation in combating the issues of human trafficking. A few weeks ago, we saw how our colleagues from other countries were nabbed, arrested, traveling in a containerized truck. There is need that we need to ensure that these border guards are employed, and there's a legal framework that will back their employment in the National Immigration Service. Madam Speaker, with these few words, the good people of Kawata want to support this motion. Thank you.
Thank you. The honorable member for Shuangando.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to make a few comments on the proposed reforms through amendments to the Immigration and Deportation Act.
Order. As the time is 16:40 hours, I suspend business for 20 minutes for a health break.
Good afternoon, and thank you for still being with us on Parliament Television. Business has been suspended for a 20-minute break, and at the time business was suspended, on the floor of the House was Shuangandu Member of Parliament, Mr. Stephen Kampyongo, who was just about to add his voice to the business that is under consideration, and that's the Immigration Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2025 at second reading stage. And so we do expect Mr. Kampyongo to continue with his debate when business resumes after the break. First, we take a look at some of the business that the House has considered from the time business commenced at about 14:30 hours.
And just before Mr. Kampyongo took his podium, we had Kawata Member of Parliament, Mr. Andrew Taingwa, who was debating to the bill, and this is the Immigration Control Bill, National Assembly Bill number 18 of 2025, which has come up at second reading, and the Minister did present the objects of the bill, and the chairperson of the Committee on National Security did also present his interactions, as committee interacted with various stakeholders and gave out the report to the House. Let's quickly look at what else has been considered on the floor of the House. We did hear the Right Honourable Madam Speaker making an announcement, and details of that announcement that was read by the Right Honourable Madam Speaker. Taza.
Yes, indeed, Paulson. Madam Speaker did inform the House that the President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency Mr. John Dramani Mahama, will address the House on Thursday, 5th February 2026. Madam Speaker stated that Her Honour the Vice President will on Tuesday, 10th February 2026, move a motion to place on record the thanks of the House to His Excellency Mr. John Dramani Mahama on the occasion of his special address to the Assembly. So that was the announcement that Madam.
It's also worth mentioning that the Ghanaian Republican President has already landed in Zambia. He was received by the Republican President, Ms. Hakainde Hichilema, landed at exactly 15:10 hours Zambian time. So expect him tomorrow to address Parliament here at Parliament building. There was a motion that was moved by the acting leader of government business, who is also Minister of Internal Security, that's Honorable Jack Mwimbu MP, suspend standing orders 26 and 55, that's standing orders 26, 55 of the National Assembly of Zambia, standing orders 2024, be suspended to enable the House hear the address by His Excellency Mr. John Dramani Mahama, President of the Republic of Zambia, on Thursday, 5th February 2026, and we did see Kana Member of Parliament, Mr. Benwa Mpundu, also debating to this motion, and when the question was put, the motion was adopted.
Yes, indeed, and we have seen the House consider 6 questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80. These are questions of ordinary nature. Question 141 lapsed, the member being absent, so basically that's just about the business that the House has considered so far. Do join us on the other side as we take a break. Keep watching Parliament Television.
The President of the Republic of Ghana, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, will address the Zambian Parliament on Thursday, 5th February 2026 at 15 hours. The address will be broadcast live on DSTV Channel 272, GoTV Channel 28, Topstar Channel 5, Parliament Radio, the National Assembly of Zambia Facebook page, and YouTube channel. Note that access to the sitting of the House will be strictly by invitation. Make a date on Thursday, 5th February